Guys, I went to an amazing, beautiful, impactful, influential event last night, and I'm happy to kind of share my experience with you because, of course, I'm provocative. We talk about the good, the bad, the ugly of sex, and I think it's super important. Y'all know every now and then I have a very health conscious, aware episode, and I think this is gonna be one of those. We might crack some jokes. I don't take nothing too serious, but I'm going to kind of just give you an overview of my experience last night at that event before I introduce my guest. So, all black woman influencer event about HIV awareness. And there are a lot of statistics out there, but black women are disproportionately impacted and are at risk for this disease. And it's super important that we talk about, again, on Provocative, we talk about the fun, the kinky, the freaky shit. But it's still important to bring it back and be responsible for your own sexual health. So being in that space with all of these different beautiful melanated women and getting these different perspectives really solidified for me the not only my role within the space to continue to drive these conversations forward and to educate people, but also that there's so much information out there, so we have to be able to use it in a way that is responsible. Even the information that we use has to be used responsibly, right? Because we can't just take these statistics and then use them as a scare tactic to scare people out of having sex, right? That was one of the things that kind of like I took away from last night's events based on the conversations that were here, right? So this is gonna be a good one, y'all. Probably I kind of feel like it might be one of my favorite ones. I like when I kind of get, I feel like things that tug at like my heartstrings a little bit. Where those end up being my most vulnerable and favorite episodes. So we gonna get right into today's episode, and I'm happy to welcome to Provocative the beautiful Koiya. I'm gonna allow her to give you guys a full introduction.
Yes, I am Koiya. I have a podcast myself called Talk with Koiya. It's actually a podcast and a card game that go together.
Nice.
I am also the host and one of the founders of Risky Dinner Conversation, which you attended last night. And I'm also the ambassador for the Florida Department of Health as well, which kind of got me into doing all of this.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. Give us a little bit more of your background with the Department of Health and how this kind of like journey happened for you.
Sure. So, yeah, I was a radio personality for 9 years, and I recently have switched over to TV. I'm a TV personality now. I have my own show, nationally syndicated television show
Period.
on Comcast and Xfinity. It's a game show called Ebonics, and it pretty much just tests your black card. So it's a fun game that you come on and you play, and it's televised. But yeah, through me doing my work on the radio, they were looking for a personality, and a lot of personalities didn't want to get involved with an HIV and AIDS initiative of fear of people thinking that they could possibly have it. So when this came
Mm.
down the pipeline, I was like, and they told me how it's directly affecting black women, and me knowing that I have a platform and I have a Rolodex of black women in my phone that I could call on to, to go to the club, whatever. Why can't I call on them to help out with this initiative as well? So
Mm-hmm.
that's how it kind of started. We did one campaign together. The campaign ended up generating like 10,000 views in less than 24 hours, which isn't a lot for normal content. But when you're talking about sexual health, in my opinion, I was like, wait, y'all actually care about this? Like, y'all are clicking on this and engaging with this content. And so I went back to the Florida Department of Health and I was like, what if we did like a year contract and kind of just saw like where this went? And they were like, yeah, okay, let's do it. So 1 year turned into two, two turned into three, and I'm still here now kicking. And so that's kind of where Risky Dinner Conversation stemmed from, right? Like I was influencing for the Florida Department of Health, helping them out with their initiative. So I was like, y'all, if I'm making this type of impact, if I were to bring more influencers on with me to help amplify this message, like it'll be big.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what do we think about an influencer dinner? And they were like, okay, cool. Yeah, let's try it out. And that's when my partner, Chiana, Black Room Project, just kind of took on the initiative. and made the all red theme, and made the influencer boxes come to life, made all of the production that you see at the actual event, aesthetically pleasing. But also we have the statistics on the napkin. We have the statistics, on all the branding around the event to let you know what's going on, Mm-hmm. So she helped bring it to life in that aspect. But yeah, that's how Risky Dinner Conversation got going, got started. And we started it in Orlando. I think it was June 2022. And the first year we did them in Orlando, and thanks to Gilead Sciences, we've been able to take it outside of Orlando and take it around the United States. We went to Dallas, we went to Houston, we're here in Chicago, and then our next one will be Orlando and Miami. So we've been able, this is, Black women are under attack when it comes to HIV and AIDS, right? We're more susceptible than any other race to be under attack by this disease throughout the United States. And while we were amplifying the messaging in Orlando, it was important to take this throughout the United States because we saw the need in one community, but we realized that there's multiple communities throughout the United States that have this same need. So we need to go out there and meet those needs as well.
Yeah, back in my PR days, because I come from a corporate background as well, and I did public relations for some local, when I first started out in PR, I did local, a lot of local clients. And one of the clients was around, they did and they do this still, the annual World of Chocolate event, which happens on National AIDS Day on December 1st. So I had already been working with this type of like mission. And then it's kind of funny when I became a sex educator, a sex coach. And then for me to be invited to this type of event, I'm like, oh my God, like I had already been kind of exposed to the space, but from, of course, the PR, like pushing the message side of it. And then now as a sex educator, and again, I talk about all things sex. So we definitely have to talk about the, what does it mean to be sexually responsible for your health? Because oftentimes, again, I hear people saying like, oh, well, I don't get tested because I'm in a long-term relationship, or a guy would be like, well, I'm gonna just wait for her to get tested because that's their way of indirectly getting tested. Like if she don't come back and tell me she got something and I know I ain't got, it's like that is insane. Like you people are not taking any responsibility whatsoever for their sexual health, and then wondering like, like here's the thing, until we can normalize having these conversations, things are not going to get better. So I was super appreciative of even being in the space so that I can be able to voice, my perspective. Of course, there were a lot of different perspectives last night, and, some of them I personally found very problematic, but that's still important to hear those problematic voices because they are reflective of other people in our community. Correct. And once we hear that, we can be able to, I always look at things as a teaching moment, right? And you saw that last night. I'm like, let's not go about the conversation in that way, because at the end of the day, we're trying to drive the conversation forward. We're trying to fix an issue. Right. We're not trying to shame people into thinking like, oh, just don't have sex and then that'll solve all of your problems. Although it's like, that's a very extreme way to solve a problem when we're all sexual beings. So as someone who is very sexual, who talks about sex all the time, I find it it is my duty, it is my responsibility to continue to advocate for sexual health for people on my platform. So that, like I said, being in that space last night was amazing. It was amazing. That said, I want to get into what are some of your top statistics that you're always coming back to when, pushing to people so that they understand the risk that they have.
Yeah, so specifically in Chicago, Black women are 15 times more likely to contract HIV than white people, and when you look at a number like that, Black people only make up 13% of the population, right? So it's alarming that we are at the forefront of a lot of these conversations, being that we are such a minute and small population when you look at the vast majority of the United States, right? Chicago is also number 7 in the United States when it comes to HIV cases as well. So our goal is to go to these areas where there are alarming numbers and make people aware of it by way of influencing. Like one of the things I said last night, people aren't picking up the Wall Street Journal anymore. Ain't nobody waiting on the newspaper or turning on the news to figure out what's going on. They're looking at influencers. They're scrolling on social media. That's where a lot of their information is coming from. So what do we need to do? Go find these people that they're getting their information from and let them know, like, hey, are you aware? I don't know if you saw, but the first message that I sent out, I was like, hey, are you aware that Black women are 15 times more likely, you know? And a lot of people were like, oh my God, I had no idea that was happening right here in my city. So I love to just give people the stats and let them know and kind of let them speak for themselves. You know, how much of a responsibility do you feel to get involved with something like this, knowing that you identify as a Black woman, knowing that you have a platform, knowing that you influence, right? We always talk about the word influencer. What are you influencing? Are you going to use your platform to influence your community for better, to let them know that this is what's going on, that we're under attack? And as a Black woman, I feel a responsibility to hold your hand and regurgitate this information to you.
Yeah, definitely. I will also say that because provocative is honestly like, of course, in Chicago, I have some notoriety. However, a lot of my listeners are on the East Coast.
Okay.
And the East Coast is very, sex positive. They're into all of the kinky shit. Like, that's just what it is. So a lot of my listeners are in New York, in Philly, in Atlanta. So can you give some of those stats on the East Coast as well? Because I know everybody listening is not in Chicago. It's a lot of people that are in Texas. Yeah. It's a lot of people that, are down south and in different places. So let's talk about, like what are some of those stats and like maybe the top 10 markets?
Yeah, so Dallas I know is 19 times more likely, which is very high, than white counterparts Black women are. Houston, I think it's 14 times more likely. Atlanta, as we know, is just off the charts.
Atlanta is cool. It's a lot.
And we plan to go to Atlanta, right? And we're actually talking about possibly doing a week in Atlanta just because that's how, much is needed there. Like, we all know what's going on in the culture of Atlanta. Like, we hear it talked about often. So when it comes to something like that, unfortunately, I don't know if just one day or one event will be enough, because we're talking about something that's specifically geared towards Black women. But when we talk about the stats in Atlanta, that's not just Black women.
You have the LGBT community, which is largely impacted. And honestly, being Black, and this is how, again, I personally, as a hetero flexible woman, I don't think you can really separate being a Black woman from being queer.
Okay.
I don't really, even if you're heterosexual, I don't think you can ever truly separate that from, and I say queer in the sense of, sometimes we have to lean into our masculine energy. Sometimes we have to code switch. Sometimes we have to do other things that we're not able to just be, right? So I think that, of course, people associate like, oh, if you're queer, then you're gay. Or it's like, no, that's actually not what that means. Gay means gay.
Yeah.
Queer means, like, not normal in some sense, right? Like, not status quo, right? Okay. Because you can be very heterosexual and queer, right? But I think also, and I know we kind of, we kind of touched on this last night about like, okay, yeah, we're on right now. The conversations are only around Black women, but how do we expand that to like maybe a Black man dinner or how do we get other people involved? Because this is a Black issue. If something impacts Black women, it impacts Black people. Yeah. Like as a Black woman, I don't separate myself from my Blackness. Anything that affects the Black community, I don't care if like, oh, well, it's the LGBTQ people's problem. Like, no, like that if you allow for any type of oppression, any type of attack, you'll allow for all attack.
Right.
So, yeah.
And to your point, these are heterosexual women that we are getting tested and coming back and giving us these stats, right? Black women having sex with mostly Black men, but they're just not getting tested at the pace that Black women are. Something you said earlier was, and I hear this often, well, if she got tested, I'm good. She good, I'm good. And that's what a lot of Black men rely on, right? I had an Uber driver in Dallas, and, you know, we were just talking. I was telling him about what I do. He was like, well, I know my status and I know I'm good. I'm like, oh, okay, that's awesome. You get tested? Well, the way I found out is when my son was born. So
Excuse me?
because your son was brought into this world and he was HIV negative, you're using that as your HIV test and for you to go and promote your status. Like, that's wild to me. Like, they'll almost do anything not to get tested. I just did an episode in June of my podcast, and I had a girl tell me that she was cheated on. So she told her man, like, let's go to the clinic. Like, I don't know what you got going on. I found this out. The way I found out is just wild. So let's go to the clinic and get tested. They get to the clinic. She gets tested. He doesn't. He sits there and watches her go through the whole process. And she's like, so you're not going to get tested? And he's like, no, for what? She's like, you're the reason how I got here. What do you mean? Like, you need to get tested. And he would not get tested, and he relied on her.
So I had this one ex. He had cheated on me, and he said that, like, oh, the girl called him and said that she was burning or what have you, that she had something, right? So I instantly goes to the doctor, get tested for everything. They say, like, well, you could wait on the results, or we could just give you the pills for chlamydia and gonorrhea, and, you know, like, whether or not you have it, it won't even, like, you know, you could just, I'm like, give me the pills now. I don't even care. Yeah. Like, whether I ended up, like, I don't think I ever waited for the results. I was just like, give me the pills. Give me the pills. Like, because clearly he was doing some shit that I wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, this went outside of the agreement we had for our relationship. Right. And he did this thing. And then he later came back and was like, oh, yeah, when I got tested, I didn't have anything, right? So it's like, I'd rather just, like, give me the pill so that I know I'm, you know, fine, as opposed. And I still went to go get tested. Mm-hmm. But relying on somebody else for your test results is insane.
And that's the thing, right? And that's why conversations like last night was needed, right? To empower people to take control of your own sexual health. Mm-hmm. Don't leave it in the hands of nobody else, which is why I touched on, hey, y'all pulling up with condoms? And what you did, went in your purse and pulled out the condoms. Roll around with your condoms. But that's a great thing. Why are we relying on these men? He could be poking a hole in the condom. They could be expired. Pull up with your ish so you know what's what. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yesterday morning, like, I can't make this up, right? So my daughter, she knows that I'm a sex educator. Mm-hmm. She knows exactly who I don't hide that from her at all. Right. So I oftentimes have conversations with her, and I say, when, you know, we're going to continue to have conversations that, of course, are age appropriate. But I want you to understand that you have a sex educator for a mom. So there's nothing that you can't come and ask me. So, like, she's asked me, like, well, mommy, what do you actually do with the rose? Do you stick it in you? I'm like, God, no. No, that's not what you do with it. Right. But again, I say, baby, you know, like, it's a vibrator that you can use to provide pleasure and stimulation to different parts of your body.
Wow, that's a great way to explain it.
Exactly. Because that's exactly what it is. Like, people just, I'm like, oh, put it on your clit. Right. It's like, nah, if you like nipple stimulation, like, you can put it different. I use it on my guys. Like, I use it on my male partners. Like, I put it on their gooch and while I'm, like, giving them head and stuff. So, like, they're toys. They're to be played with. Right. Yeah. But of course, that's how I explain it to her. So she feels comfortable coming to me, asking me stuff. So when she saw like a roll of condoms. Now, I recently started dating somebody new.
Okay.
So she saw some condoms in my purse, and she's like, "Mommy, why you got all these condoms?" And I was like, because sexual health is important, sweetheart. Like, she was like, well, every time I watch a movie, it's always the man that's supposed to have the condom.
Oh, wow.
And I said, sweetheart, that is very problematic. Anybody who has sex should have condoms, right? And I said, and not only that, I said, when you get to a point where you're a little older, because she's 12 right now.
Okay.
Right? So we're having these conversations, and I told her yesterday, I said, and when you get a little older, I'm going to actually show you how to put one on, because you should not rely on a boy or, you know, at whatever age you feel like you're ready. You shouldn't put your sexual health in their hands. And that is a conversation I had with her yesterday morning.
Wow.
So this is not something that I just, you know, I don't actually live in my real life. I did a article, I did a interview with Yahoo Lifestyle a couple years ago, and they were talking about like parents that took sexual education into their own hands. I said I became a whole sex educator. I didn't have to go and hire outside help. I became the sex education that I needed, that I never had. So my daughter, any like my current children, future children, the boys, girls, whether it be, you know, my siblings, I have young siblings, I have a 14-year-old sister, I have an 11-year-old brother, anybody that when it comes to that sex conversation, I will have it in a way that is age appropriate and that is educational and informed. Not like, oh, well, you know, for women, just don't do it.
Yeah.
And for men, oh, go out there and get you some pussy. Yeah. Like that's, you know, those don't drive the conversation forward. And we should definitely be having these conversations. But what I also realize is that Black women have a hard time talking about sex. So, of course, they have a hard time talking about sexual health, right? Yeah. They don't want to talk, like, you know, they want to hide behind, like, oh, no, I don't masturbate. No, I don't pleasure myself, right? There's so much shame in the sex conversation at large. So, of course, there's shame in the testing, right? Oh, you know, and that's kind of like, I kind of felt that a little bit from, like, some of the women last night. Again, your walk of life is your walk of life, but I definitely felt like, you know, it's kind of like, oh no, I don't do that. Like, and it's like, that's fine. But what I heard was there was a lot of judgment behind some of the words that were shared. So of course, I'm going to take all of this as an opportunity to educate, right? Same way I do with my daughter. If she says like, oh, when I watch movies, it's always the man. That's not what we're doing. We're not relying on other people for our sexual health. The same way we're not relying on other people for our sexual pleasure. Right. A lot of women put their sexual pleasure and whether or not their ability to have an orgasm or to be, you know, to have a good sexual experience in the hands of their partner. And they don't own that, right? So, Black women, let's take accountability for all things. Like, let's own that shit. Let's take accountability for our sexualities, our sexual health, how we choose to sexually express versus sexually identify, because those are two very different distinctions for me, right? And let's, you know, when you're open, that other people trust you. Other people trust you when you're open about your shit, right? Because I'm the last person to judge anybody about anything because I'm so open about it. Like, I understand shit happens, right? I'm not I don't play the respectability politics games and saying like, oh, well, I'm not gonna talk about this in public. Like, I'm gonna talk about it all. When it comes to sex. It's funny because I be super private about the stuff where they be like, why you ain't tell nobody you fell in love? I'm like, no, that's not for like the stuff that people are like so forthcoming to, you know, share. I'm like, but I can tell you about some wild nights I had, but that's just me. That's just me. But that's
your comfort level.
Yeah, but that's also, and it took me a long time to get here. This is not, I haven't been this way. And I was telling someone at the dinner last night, I said, I didn't grow up in a house where we talked about sex. I told my mama I was having sex and she cried. Do you know how traumatizing that is? To like, you know, she was like, are you having sex? And I'm like, yes, like, she's crying. I'm like, if this is how you react to me telling you that, I'm like, no, I don't want you to cry in front of me like you're acting irate. And I just, no, I can't do it, right? So, and there were other, you know, things that, you know, again, my mama did what she could. She responded how she could with the information and the resources that she had. I don't feel no type of way about that. However, I was sexually, you know, traumatized in a lot of different ways, from being sexually abused early to, you know, just the conversations around sex that were supposed to be had that were never had, the protection of like predators in the family, and all of those things kind of fed into me having very repressed sexuality that I did not begin to explore until I was 30.
Wow.
I'm 33.
Wow.
But I did a lot of accelerated work on myself. Accelerated. And I'm glad I did that. Like, I was like, oh, I'm going to podcast about this. I'm going to become a sex educator. I'm going to do this. I teach classes. Like, so, but you don't have to, you know, I'm not telling y'all like, go out there and become sex educators. Like, no, right. Like, that's not what I'm saying. However, we do have to have a conversation around accountability.
Yes.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, and also not leaving your sexual health in the hands of other people. One thing I love that you said is you didn't come from a household that talked about sex. And I would say about 85% of Black women will say the same thing. We grew up in a time where sex was taboo. Like, some people weren't even taught how to use pads and tampons from their parents.
Never learned how to use a tampon from my mom. She just, here goes some pads.
Exactly.
I feel like when I came on my period, I was 12, right? And I started developing breast at the age of like 8, 9.
Oh.
So I started, like, I always hit a little butt, but I started, like, I come from a titty family. Like, we got titties. So I was wearing bras real early, but I didn't get the conversation around a conversation around sex, which wasn't really a conversation, because again, I can tell that my mom didn't know how to have that conversation. And how would she know how to have that conversation if nobody had that conversation with her?
Exactly.
So I don't feel, like, because my grandma, damn sure, to this day, my grandma act like she's never had sex in her life. You have 3 kids, woman. And from what I heard from my mama, you was a hoe.
You was out here.
You was a hoe. Like, my grandma was a hoe. And not just like my grandma was married, having sex with my grandpa best friend. Like, my grandma was a hoe.
Okay, grandma.
Right? And that's why when somebody be like, Jody, you a hoe. I'm like, it ain't on me, it's in me. Like, it might be in my, like, it's my grandma's fault. Right? Yeah. So, but she acts like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's never engaged. And she's like, oh no. It's like, come on now, grandma.
And the elders in our family do act that way, which is why we don't have a lot of conversations surrounding this. So if you're not getting it from your family, where are you going to get it from? So it's up for us to advocate for each other, to let each other know, like, hey, girl, I know you ain't get the talk. I ain't get it with my family either. But let's educate each other. Yes. Now that we know, we have to unlearn that old way and relearn the new way. And something I love is that you didn't grow up in that household, but now you're changing the narrative because you're giving your daughter the information that I'm sure all of us as Black women would have wished we had. We're curious. You're out in the world. If you think these kids ain't hearing and seeing it on social media, you rather them hear it from you and get the correct information than them going on social media and having someone else try to teach them or them learn the incorrect way. So I love that you're changing that narrative, because the number one thing that I always hear is like, well, I was never taught, or I didn't know. And I think that's a lot to do with the topic of HIV as a whole, right? Like you're saying, some of the conversation last night may have come off to be judgmental, but I think it has to do with ignorance, right? Yeah. Like, when you are not equipped with the proper knowledge about certain things, you're speaking from a raw, authentic place. Yeah. So much so you may not even know some of the things that you're saying is judgmental or coming off in a certain way. But that's why those type of conversations are needed, right? I like to call the first risky conversation that we have in these cities the first date, right? Because you throw out all the raw, authentic conversation and we let that be had.
I feel like I was having Tourette's at the face. Like, literally, like, people were saying stuff and I'm like,
yeah, but you have to let them get it out, right? You have to
I was listening. I wasn't, like, I was slow to respond. I was listening, but I was like, whoa. No, like, it was, but like I said, even through that, the some of the, the ways in which the conversations were, going, I'm like, I need to hear this because I need to know that this way of thinking exists, so I know how to educate in the moment. Like I said, I got a PR background, so it's almost nothing you can throw at me that I don't know how to, like, respond to in a way that is going to, again, get us back to where we need to go. Right. As opposed to, like, oh, well, whose fault is it? Yeah. Pointing a finger don't do nothing. It don't do nothing. You point a finger, guess what? It's coming right back to you. Like, it literally benefits no one. But what does benefit us is when we take responsibility for ourselves and we advocate for other people to take responsibility for themselves. Right. But last night was definitely, I think me and my girl Cookie, we talked for like another hour after leaving, because I'm like, I got to figure out what I need to do to help with this mission, because it's very important. It's very important. Like, I'm a pleasure advocate. I talk about, like, how do you own your sexuality, right? You have to own your sexuality. So I already talk about that. Yeah. Sexual health is a part of that. You have to own it all. You have to own your, like, I like to say, I like to man my own pussy. You have to mind yours, like really take care of yours, and what goes into taking care of yours, right? Making sure you know how to, you know how to pleasure yourself. You're not relying on other people to pleasure you. You know how to take care of yourself from a health perspective, you know, mentally, emotionally, what have you. You know how to take care of yourself. When you know how to take care of yourself, you teach other people how to take care of you as well. And in turn, how to look at themselves and say, damn, I don't think I'm taking care of myself. Yeah. Right? Like it starts with you. It always starts with you.
Yes. And I do want to say, even though that the event is called risky, there's no risky behavior. You know, there's no risky activity that you can partake in. The only risk is not knowing. Yes. So I want to make that clear, because I know a lot of people hear the name risky and they're like, it's frowned upon, but it's like, no, we're like taking ownership of it. There's no such thing as risky behavior. We are pro whatever, but we want to make sure you're equipped with the proper knowledge to know how to go out there and combat yourself. Exactly. Speaking of, like, one of your prevention methods being PrEP. You know, that's something that people need to know about, especially Black women. Because I remember when the PrEP commercials first came out. We were not in any
the
of that
commercial.
marketing.
It was all gay men.
We were not in any of that marketing, so much so that Black women thought that they could not take it, that it was a pill only for the LGBTQ plus community. And so now we're going back and trying to correct that, right? And let them know that PrEP is not specific to one gender, race, anything. It's for everyone. You know, there's a pill form and there's an injectable form. And for people who do not know, PrEP is pre-exposure prophylaxis. It's a pill you can take every single day to ensure that you do not contract HIV. And like I said, there's an injectable form as well. And yeah, these are just things that people need to be equipped with, right? Because as Black women, if we know that this thing is functioning out here alive and well, we got to know how to prevent it, or we need to at least know our options to prevent it.
I do want, last night as part of the event, like I said, beautifully curated event, everything from, you know, the kind of like secret location. I love the vibe of it, right? Like the vibe was there, right? I like that. Love the decor. At the end of the night, y'all gave away spend a night bags. Yes. And it came with condoms. There was a dental dam up in there. I don't think I've ever actually seen a dental dam. And I'm like, oh, this is a dental dam. Like, I knew exactly what it was when I saw it. But it also came with this little red book, right? And I like this. I like this because it has the information that you need to know literally right in this book. So I'm going to like read off a couple of them, right? It says the numbers you need to know. Women of all ages, races, and ethnicities can get HIV, but Black women are more at risk than others. In Chicago, Black women represent 76% of new HIV diagnoses among all women, right? Then it goes on to, of course, say the rate of Black women living with an HIV diagnosis in Chicago is 15.3 times higher than white women, which we already talked about. And then it is recommended that all individuals between ages 13 to 64 are tested for HIV once annually as part of routine screening. And one of my questions yesterday at the table was, how often do you get tested for HIV? I get tested every 6 months. Yes. I get tested for everything every 6 months. Full panel. Yeah, like I'm like, look, one time I went to the doctor, and it's crazy because she was like, have you ever had an HIV scare? I've never had an HIV scare. I've had pregnancy scares before I had HIV scares. Okay. Or like, I'm like, damn, do I maybe have herpes? I've had herpes scares before I had HIV scares. But I have this one story in particular, right? And I told this on one podcast. My ex had put an ecstasy pill in my booty. And my booty swelled up. My booty hole swelled up. And it was swollen for like 10 days. I'm like, I gotta go to the hospital. 10? Yeah, 10 days. I'm like, I ain't been able to sit. I ain't been able to shit in 10 days. I'm like, I gotta go to the hospital. My asshole is on fire. Right. I'm shooting cold water on my booty hole. I'm trying to relieve the fucking, I'm like, I'm so uncomfortable. I go to urgent care. Imagine explaining this to a male nurse. And I explained it the way I just explained it. I'm like, so my boyfriend put an ecstasy pill in my booty hole, and then there was a straw. He tried to suck it out with a straw. And this man is looking at me trying not to laugh, first of all, because of the way I'm literally just saying it like this. And I'm like, so I need to get tested for everything. And he's like, what the fuck fuck is going on? But the reason that I'm so forthcoming when it comes to doctors is because I know people are not forthcoming when it comes to doctors. So how the fuck can you go to somebody for help and you over here lying about the activity that actually took place? So they over here like, I don't know, maybe you got this, maybe you got, because when you go to the doctor, all they're trying to do is eliminate all of the shit that you don't have. That's what they doing. They not saying like, oh, you got this. They're trying to eliminate all the shit you don't have. Right. So if I tell you, look, it was one of them nights, I promise you I ain't gonna put no more ecstasy in my booty. But please help me figure out what's going on with my booty hole, right? So the doctor was like, it's okay, you just have an extreme case of hemorrhoids. Like, it's because I was like, gee, it's 10 days. Like 10 days. But also wild. What I later found out from my mom is that extreme hemorrhoids actually run in my family. So I'm like, not this ecstasy pill activated my fucking family lineage of extreme, like, booty issues. So
it probably was like a blessing in disguise for you to even know that that was a thing. Oh,
yeah, dang. She was like, my mom was like, yeah, I get hemorrhoids all the time. And I'm like,
oh, wow.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. And here's the thing. I don't run into hemorrhoid problems, and I think it's because I got a poop stool. So I don't strain. I literally, if I got a dookie, I go up now, sit my feet up, because what it does is your anal canal, it shallows it out, and it makes it real easy for it to just slide right in. I saw that, yeah. I do anal training. Like I said, I'm a sex coach, so I do anal training for people that want to have anal sex. And so that is one of the things I say, guys, like even a woman who has been through labor, why do you think they have you put your legs all the way back? Because it shallows out, even your vagina, it shallows out your vaginal canal as well. So it makes it easier. So if, for example, you're having penetrative sex with a partner who's larger, put your legs back, again, as comfortably, but as far back as you can, because that will shallow you out a little bit. Oh, wow. So, yeah. You just taught me something. Yeah. But that was, like I said, I'm like, I got some. I'm like, is this what genital herpes is like? Like, I'm like, my booty hole is on fire. They're like, you just got hemorrhoids. Like, it's fine. Don't do that no more. I'm like, it was a straw, wasn't it? Like, maybe the straw, I was doing too much. The straw did it. I might have did too much. Like, I don't know why this man went and got a straw. And I'm, like, I'm over here. I'm sticking drugs in my butt. Who am I? But I'm like, I'm not doing that ever again. Like, I learned my lesson. It was like a good, takeaway.
Listen, it was a fun time.
Yeah, but also I don't have like one night stands and stuff like that, right? So like I was thinking about this morning. I think half of my partners have been men that I've known for years, and or friends.
Okay.
And the one time I had a one night stand when I was in Houston, condoms. So I never really been in a position where it's like, oh, like this is kind of, it's like, how risky is this decision? Okay. And I have not woken up the next day feeling like, oh, what the fuck did I just do? I haven't felt that way. But also that doesn't say like, oh, because I've never felt that way that I should just be, I'm fine. Right. Like, because nobody's immune. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm definitely, it did make me think about that. And my friend, she was like, well, shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, I've genuinely not had that or whatever. I had to, like, again, I've had pregnancy scares. I go to the hospital. I'm like, what's going on? They like, yeah, you got BV. I'm like, oh, okay, give me the medicine.
I can deal with that.
Yeah, I can deal with that. I'm like, I don't know what's going, like, this don't feel right. Yeah. But it was like, oh, BV. I'm like, all right, cool. I could fix that. And
that's pills. The thing, as women, like, we are more prone to symptoms. So anytime any little thing is going on, we like, hold on, wait. As for men, they don't get symptoms like we do, so they can go forever before they know they have anything. I had a guy that was on my podcast last month's episode, and he was talking about the symptoms of when he was diagnosed with chlamydia, and he was talking about that whole thing. And I had another girl on the podcast as well, and she was blown away because she had never heard of the male symptoms when it comes to chlamydia, because again, it takes forever for it to show up, and as opposed to us, 2 days, 3 days, or however we're seeing.
I'm like, look, something ain't right. Yeah. Something ain't right. Like, I literally, when I went to the emergency room, so I'm like, something's wrong with me, and I found out I had BV. Yeah. It was because I had started dating somebody, right? This was somebody that I'd known for a really long time, right? And we were exclusive. However, he was uncircumcised. Oh. And I'm like, and that was the first time I had been with somebody that, like in a non-protective way that wasn't circumcised. And I'm like, what the hell wrong with me? What's
So
going on? But it's like, I didn't know. I didn't know. Because I didn't change my soaps. Like, I like what I like. I'm a Scorpio. So it's like certain shit, this is what I like, and this is the only thing that I like, and this is it. Like, I'm not bending on this, right? So I only buy the same soaps, and I only use the same lotions, and I have like 2 or 3 perfumes that I use interchange. I don't have to step outside of my little box for this right here.
I love that.
And that's why it'd be funny because like I talk all this freak shit, and then I'd be like committed to like a sneaky link. I'd be like,
right.
I be fucking the same, but people think I be fucking different people. I be like, nah, I like it here. I don't gotta go nowhere. I don't gotta go nowhere until I gotta go somewhere. Period. And then once I go somewhere, then I'm over there, and I'm probably not coming back. But that fixed energy kind of comes out me real quick because I'm like, I talk all this freak shit, but I like a person that's mine.
But just because people are a freak or they are sex positive does not mean that they're quote unquote a hoe. And I hate how the two kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah.
I could like to have a lot of sex if all, like you're saying, it be with one person. But
I don't think I have nearly as much sex as I want to have.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so. I have a really high sex drive.
So in terms of you're not having as much sex as you want to with multiple people, or you're just not having as much sex in general?
As much sex in general.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I don't have to have sex with a lot of people.
Okay.
If I really like fucking one person, I'm cool with just fucking that one person, right? If I have to fuck multiple people, it means there's something about this person that I'm not getting fully satisfied with. Yeah. So now I have to supplement. I believe in a good supplement. It ain't nothing wrong with some vitamins, right? So I'm cool with that. I'm cool. And again, if the circumstances make sense or whatever, because I had like what I call the dick week. Like Shark Week, but it was like 7 days of like I was just having a lot of sex, and it made me question whether or not I'm like, are you a sex addict? What is going on? That was probably risque, the riskiest fucking thing because I had 2 threesomes that week. I was seeing one person. I think I saw one person that I liked. I saw my sneaky link. And I'm like, I wasn't even supposed to have sex with you. And then I met this new guy. We went on a date. And I was like, I was not supposed to have sex with you either. So it was like every day I was having sex. And I was masturbating every day. The more you masturbate, the more you actually want to have sex. So I kicked my shit into overdrive. Oh. So after that week, I took like a month off sex. I was like, nah, like you got to get what the hell is going on here? So took a month off of sex to kind of like, because that was a wild week. Yeah. Like you had enough sex for the month. I think you need a break. You need to like, get your
fast.
Yeah, go ahead, get your coochie little time to rejuvenate, right? After your period, you have a whole new coochie, so don't worry about it. The lining literally drops out. It's a new coochie. But even with that, again, I didn't feel. Because again, that was probably like, I want to say like, if I had to pinpoint a time where I was at my most kind of like holy, it would be that moment, right? But what I also do is I'm a very self-aware and reflective person. I had to pay attention to why are you engaging in the type of sex that you're engaging in, right? Because I like good sex. I was gauging in very specific types of sex during that week. Okay. And that is what I had to pay attention to, and then take a step back and say like, okay, cool, that was fun. That was a fun experience, but what did I learn from it? Because it's all about like, what are you learning? What are you taking away from the situation? But I had my dick week, and that was cool. I don't have to have that again.
Out of your system.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, like, it was fun. I don't know. Maybe like I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. But for right now, I'm like, I'm cool on that because I don't even like that many people to be like, and I gotta like, I don't know, like at this point where I am now, again, that was like almost at the middle beginning of like my whole phase. So it was fun. I needed the experience so that I could be like, all right, cool, did it. Yeah. But outside of that, I'm like, yeah, no. But also in doing that, I just learned a lot about, like I said, I took a very accelerated approach to becoming the person that I am now. And so I know what I like very quickly based on what I've experienced. And I'm like, yeah, don't like this, don't like that, like this. And sometimes it takes engaging with multiple people and figuring out who you are through these different situations to know exactly what you want.
Very true.
Yeah. What do you hope where do you hope this conversation goes?
I hope it travels nationwide, right? Like I'm saying, one of the things that I see when I go into these markets, people are taken aback about these numbers. You know what I mean? They're taken aback to even know that Black women are at risk the way that they are, you know? So my goal is to amplify this conversation. Yes. And by amplifying the conversation, I'm bringing more Black women to join the table to help me find a solution for this. Yes. Do I think that we are going to find a solution for it? It's a loaded question, right? Medical mistrust, risky behavior that people are doing. People just don't trust in the Black community. I mean, when it comes to the medical field, we've been the trajectory of what has played out over time. Black people have been at the bottom of the totem pole, so we don't easily trust. Ignorance is another thing. So if I could just go out and educate people, give them the tools, the knowledge, the materials to go and regurgitate to their following and to their audience in hopes of amplifying this conversation, that's the goal, right? Yeah. To get these numbers down. It's specifically for Black women because I identify as one.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, and like I said, if you can make an impact, I think, with Black women specifically, it will touch the other communities. Yeah. Like, there's no way to have a conversation around Blackness without talking to black women. Yeah. Right? Like, if we have a conversation with them, we are able to change their mindset, shift their mindset. It will be amplified. Yeah. One of my Terry, he loves to say this, like, if you want something to grow, put a Black woman behind it.
Yes, we're the pulse. Like, we're the pulse of the culture.
Yes, so there's, again, getting to us, you're going to get to the LGBTQ community because some of us are in that community. Yeah. You're going to get to Black men, right? Because that's who we're having sex with more often than not, right? So I definitely, like I said, this mission is important to me. I know it's my responsibility as someone who talks about sex, right? People listen to me. Black men listen to me. Black women that are open with their sexuality and open to receive the message listen to me, right? Black women just listen to me because, like, oh, a pretty girl talking about sex. Yeah. But they listen, right? And they like, oh, damn. Like, it's kind of like my Houdini trick. Like, I tricked you. Now I just educated you with something, right? Figuring, I definitely think it's a conversation around getting us to be more vocal around sex so that we can say, okay, cool, while we're on the subject, let's talk about health, right? Because I know that's kind of my approach to it. And I have friends that talk to me all the time like, oh, I want to ask this person for their my chart. How do I do it? Ask. Yeah. Literally. Straight like that, like, ask. Yeah. It's fine. It's okay.
And that's why we need people like you, and we invite people like you to Risky Dinner Conversation, because you do have a prominent voice within the community, right? Like you're saying, people listen to you. I went on your page and I thoroughly handpicked every single girl for a reason. Yeah. I see the work that you're doing. You are the people that we need a part of this conversation, again, which is why we chose you. So it takes, yes, I can do some of the work, but it takes me to call on my other sisters and be like, hey, girl, help me out with this, or even making you guys feel empowered enough to go out and let your audience know, like, hey, this going on. And
I love stats. I be spitting, like, I love stats. Like, one of my favorite stats, my favorite pleasure stat is 80% of women don't come from penetration alone, right? Which means that penetration don't fucking matter. Yeah. It don't matter to our pleasure. So what the fuck are we doing to own our pleasure if penetration does not matter? You talking about well, he didn't make me come. He probably couldn't if he fucking tried, because the odds are not in your favor, sis. It's not in your favor. So what do you do to ensure you're taking responsibility for your sexual pleasure in that moment? If that's not the, like, penis is just like the cherry on top. It's like the, okay now. Terry feels away.
Come on, Terry.
But again, right? 80%, right? That number didn't come out of nowhere. Yeah. Like, there are a lot of women that I hear is like, man, I still ain't never hit orgasm. Yeah. I'm in my 30s.
And you like, poor girl.
Yeah, I'm poor like, baby. Damn, I be fucking the shit out myself. Look, somebody asked, I had somebody said, like, oh, how long do you masturbate before you start to feel nasty? I said, nasty.
Right. Why?
I say, girl, look, one thing about me, I'm gonna fuck myself slow and with intention, the same way I want any man to fuck me. Right. So guess what? I be turning on the lights. I be playing music.
Okay.
I take a nice shower. I be rubbing and massaging on myself. I romance myself. So guess what?
Yeah.
When you treat yourself a certain way, you teach me, and I'm masturbating in front of men. So I'm like, look, this is what you getting yourself into. Yeah. I want you to know exactly what you getting yourself into. And when they see me, they're like, damn, she been going for like 10, 15 minutes. Shit. Now you like, all right, cool. Like you gonna have to take your time with me because and I've been edging for a while. So good luck. But like I said, I love the mission. We'll talk offline about how I can be involved. I'm a podcaster, so I'm always traveling. Like I'm always all over the place, doing shows in different places. I love statistics. Like I said, I will regurgitate that, like, cause just so y'all know, right? And I like to incorporate in a way that's fun, so that people kind of like receive it well, right? But yeah, this is important work. I'm super excited to see how this dinner grows and evolves, because I felt it. Like in my spirit, I'm like, this is huge. This is important. This is impactful work. And I want to do what I can as a sex educator, because I think it's my responsibility to do so, to be a part of this mission, to be a part of the things that you guys are doing, so that I can, like just like you said, continue to amplify the message so that we can impact and create change.
And you're already doing it, right? You're already doing it. You're a person who I thoroughly select the people that come to this. So when I saw what you were doing, I'm like, oh, heck yeah. You already doing it. It's there. So she's definitely somebody we need to sit at this table so she can help us amplify this and let the people know. And I love that you don't do it in a very conventional way.
I'm very provocative with it.
I don't even know provocative because it's your brand. I understand why you chose that word, but I love that you're raw with it. I love that you're unapologetic about it. And that's the type of energy that we need, right? Give it to me in a digestible way that's going to make sense for me. Not everybody is going to be with the corporate cute da-da-da-da-da. Like, we need the people that's going to be like...
Because, look, I did corporate for years, but I'm still from the hood. So, I'm going to give it to you how it got to be gave. So,
and I love that. I love that so much, which is why I was like, I got to have this girl at my dinner conversation. And I'm so happy you were able to come. So, thank you so much.
Yeah, and it's like, even like, I don't know how y'all strategically place people, but the fact that I felt like literally in the room closer to you. Like for me, I thought that was I'm someone big on energy, and I'm like, I feel close to this person. Yes, so I'm receiving this energy in a way where, like, I don't know how, sometimes as simple as where you sit at the table can impact the room, right? So I felt, I felt close to you literally because I was only two people down from you, literally. But it also made me feel like, yes, I gotta do whatever it is that I can to help with this mission. So thank you for inviting me. It was amazing. It was amazing. Like I said, everything about last night's event was amazing. Thank you for my spend a night bag. I'm gonna load it up with some sex toys.
Do it.
Load up with some sex toys. But let me show y'all this robe, because I like robes, y'all. Right? I got me a little risky robe. Yes. Like I put it on. I was like, ooh. Yeah. Like I like how it feel on my skin.
I love
and
that.
Y'all, let me show y'all this dental dam, because I know. Look, I ain't never seen a dental dam, and this is cute. This is cute, right? Like, I think about like what was the movie? Booty Call. I think about Booty Call, right? And when she the girl, matter of fact, I gotta add that to my Skinamax list. I do a series called Skinamax where me and I have a co-host for that series where we talk about movies that have sex in it.
Okay.
and we kind of digested, like, what do we think their kinks would be?
Oh,
What do you know?
that.
Is the sex in this movie realistic? Have we ever been in situations that were similar? How do we identify with the characters? So we talk a bit. So yes, definitely adding booty call to the list. We just talked about Boomerang yesterday. That was fun. But in the movie Boomerang, when he was about to go down on her, she was like, "Oh, do you have a dental dam?" You're like, "What the hell? What the hell is that?" Right? Also in the movie Knocked Up, because we did that on Skinamax, she was like, the woman was like, "I thought you had a condom." He said, "I don't know. I thought you had like one of them dental dam shits or something." It's like, people don't know what a damn.
They don't even know what it is.
They don't know what it is. And even in Booty Call, they went and got some saran wrap and wrapped their whole damn bodies around. It's like, you genuinely don't know what the hell is going on, which is a testament to, because here's the thing, the things that we watch in movies is a reflection of our real lives. It might be dramatized or what have you, right? But there is somebody out there that don't know what the hell a dental dam is for. I actually just had a conversation with a guy, because I went to a play party recently, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna bring some saran wrap." And you're like, "What the hell is saran wrap from?" I was like, in case I decide to play with another woman, there'll be I'm not gonna fluid exchange with anybody at a play party. So he's like, I'm teaching him in the moment, right? Because it's like, yeah, I'm a freak, but look, like, I don't know this chick, and if I want to play with her, it's gonna be some kind of barrier. I got my lube, I got my, and we gonna have a good time. So yes, safe sex is important. But yeah, this was great. Thank
you for having me.
Yes, I know you got a flight to catch later. Yes. Thank you for bringing the Risky Dinner conversation to Chicago. Next time you're in Chicago, girl,
I'm gonna hit you up, girl. Yes, we gotta tear up the town. I gotta do some stuff.
Yes, I gotta. Yeah, I'm gonna take you to get some chicken with some mild sauce, and I'm gonna take you downtown. We gonna have fun. We gonna have fun next time you come to Chicago. We gonna do that for sure. Cause we got a lot of beautiful stuff in Chicago. And you came into Chicago in the summertime, which is like the best time to come to Chicago. Summertime Chicago is just beautiful. It really is. It's hot as shit, but it's beautiful.
It's gorgeous. Yes. I love it. I couldn't be here for the cold. I'm a Florida girl to my core, so
yeah, no, we don't even like it here in the cold. I be wondering every time it could get cold in Chicago. Imagine it's cold in Chicago for like 9 months out the year. I be like, why do I live here? What is, like, every time we get winter, I'm like, the wind hurts. Like, it hurts your skin. Why do I live in a place where the wind hurts your skin? I don't understand that. But I am a Chicago girl. So, I feel like and it's crazy because I don't even know if I ever, on the one hand, I'm like, maybe I should move to the East Coast. I don't know. I be kind of torn between as a podcaster versus like, just whatever. I don't know. Maybe one day I'll just like leap of faith, just leave for like a year or something. But we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll
maybe.
See. Yeah,
maybe.
I'm a rep my city wherever I go though. Like big Chicago.
Do it. Do it.
Yeah. Tell everybody how they can find you and where if they want more information. What are some resources that you recommend? Like, go ahead and lay it all out.
Yeah, so if you guys want to get in contact with me, at Koiy 4 A's, that's Instagram, that's Facebook, that's TikTok, that's YouTube. If you are in the Chicago area and you are looking for somewhere to get tested, www.riskydinnerconvo.com. That also gives you an avenue to order an at-home test kit as well as see.
Oh yeah, I forgot to say that. Y'all, the duffel bag, the It's Been a Night bag came with at-home HIV testing kit. And I very much plan on doing this soon because last time I got tested was 6 months ago. So yeah.
And if any of your followers want to go order one, they can. Just go to riskydinnerconvo.com, fill out the form, and we'll have one sent to you. So,
nice. Yeah. Love that. That's amazing. What's up next? What city up next?
So next is Orlando in October, and then Miami in November.
And I have listeners in Florida. So guys, if you are an influencer out there, make sure you're following Koiya, follow Risky Dinner Convo on Instagram. That's how I found them. Make sure you guys are just, keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open for more to come. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to take it all over next year. So yeah.
Period. You gonna do it. You gonna do it.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna do everything in my power to help. So yes. Thank you for coming on, sharing your wisdom, your knowledge with the provocative audience. Guys, as always, make sure you guys are rating and reviewing the show. The downloads have been up. So shout out to y'all. Y'all ain't been leaving no ratings and reviews, so I'm kind of like shaking my fingers at you motherfuckers a little bit because I've been telling y'all like do the reviews, but y'all been downloading and y'all been snapping. Last year I had 25,000 downloads for the year of 2023.
Wow.
I had 35,000 downloads in the last 3 months.
Wow.
Shout out to y'all. And I've been ranking on the chart. So yeah, shout out to y'all. Keep you know what? Never mind. Fuck the reviews. Just kidding. No, like please review. I like it. Y'all know I got a praise kink. It strokes my ego when you say how much you love me. So please indulge me. But of course, if you guys are not following Provocative, please follow Provocative on TikTok, Instagram. It's on YouTube now. If y'all notice, in the last couple months, I want to say last 3 months, I've been putting videos on YouTube. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, of course, there's video. So make sure you guys are tuning in all of the different places. I still accept sex coaching clients. So you can DM me on Instagram or click the link in my bio, or the link in this description if you want to schedule a one-on-one sex coaching class or sex coaching session. I do classes as well. If you want to engage in sensual play, y'all know I'm a kink educator. So, if you want to learn how to tap people up, you want to learn how to hog tap people, I can help you with that. And that is all we have for today's episode. This was great. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So until next time, guys. Bye.